Hello, welcome to part 2 of the BSA C10 250 restoration. Been doing loads of research. I think that's what you've got to do when you build these bikes. Became a bit concerned because when I was kicking over the bike, obviously it was hard to turn over. One of the people on the forums that I'm looking at the moment, I'll put a link up here, has been saying you need to check the oil pump. It's prone to seizing, getting stiff, so you could potentially actually snap off the worm drive, which is driven off the crankshaft, the primary drive, or I suppose you could snap off the top of the oil pump itself if it's seized. So anyway, I've taken it apart. This is done after. So yeah, I've taken it apart, I've made a video. It's blurry, I'm sorry, it's dark and cold in this country this time of year, and yeah, I used the wrong camera really. This camera, my SLR, seems to take video better. I'll try and use this now and hopefully get clearer images, but you'll get a good idea. You get a good idea of, you know, what's going on there and how to take it apart. Anyway, enough chat. One more thing before I go any further, please like, please subscribe. It's really important. I want to get those subscribers. Why do I struggle with that? Subscribers to 1,000. And yeah, thank you very much for all your support. Keep watching. I'm going to keep making videos. So a couple of things that caused me to have a bit of a panic. This is one of them. In here, I think, is the oil pump for the engine. And someone has said maybe the oil pump has swollen up and seized. So I'm going to whip this plate off and have a look, and fingers crossed I've not caused any damage. The other things that I've been thinking about, again I need to check, are the rear sprocket, which doesn't look brilliant, but I think it's got some sort of wear left in it, but also the front sprocket, which are unobtainium apparently. So under here we've got 4 bolts, 4 nuts rather. It's very hard to film under here, especially when the nuts go up really tight. For goodness sake. I'm just about to get covered in oil, aren't I? Just going to have to put you down a minute, I'm afraid. Oh no, there you go. Oh, washers, of course. Feels like there's water in the bottom. Doesn't feel like oil, unless it's unless it's the oil I put in. Yeah, it's my penetrating oil. That's okay. Brilliant. Okay, let's have a look and see what's here then, shall we? Okay, I've leant the bike right over so to give you a better view of what's going on here. This gasket will obviously need either replacing or some sort of sealant put back on it. Oh, that's a filter then, is it? With a gasket on one side, and then there's a filter on the other side. So this is the oil pump, which is scary. Okay, let's see what's going on with this then. So we'll just push apart, do we think? It feels quite tight. No, it moves. Obviously just a bit stiff. Let's try it in reverse. So not only have I found that this was tight, luckily the worm drive has survived. I've tested it and it is turning okay. But I've learnt something. This lovely little gear driven pump is awesome. Typical British engineering. So yeah, it just drives the oil through these journals. So I've just run this in the drill for a little while and greased it up, and look at that now, it's as sweet as a nut. So I reckon that'll give me an extra 2 horsepower. What do you reckon? Okay, so I'm going to try and show you what is up inside the engine block. So obviously this is the bottom of the crankshaft here, and up in here is the worm drive that's driven off the end of the crankshaft, I believe, and then this drives your oil pump. So I couldn't really find any information other than the owner's book of what this looks like, and it's interesting to see sometimes before you take something apart what you're actually getting yourself into. When I turn the kickstart, you should see the worm drive up inside moving, and you can see that clearly turning, and also the crankshaft. So that's what drives the oil pump. Oh, it's difficult when you're laid on your back, but I'm sure you get the idea. So I'm pretty confident that all this is working. The oil pump was stiff. The worm drive is turning, so that's a bit of a panic averted there. I was a little bit concerned for a minute that it might have stripped something, but so the pump I've taken all apart, rebuilt. There's no bearings in there or anything. I was quite surprised about that. There's a non-return valve on the bottom with a ball bearing here, and I've got a new gasket set for this, which remarkably came with the bike. Again, thanks Chris. Things like this, without that it would be like, oh, for God's sake, now I've got to go to the shop and stop, blah blah blah. Cleaned the filter out. I've cleaned both surfaces of both the oil pump cover plate and also the bottom of the engine block. So I'm going to put it back together. I've in fact put some thread lock on these 2 bolts that hold the pump together, because basically I feel like I couldn't do them up as tight as I wanted to. I'm worried about, you don't want those flying about in the bottom of your engine. So I put some thread lock on those, and also I've put thread lock on these 2 bolts as well, which actually secure the pump inside the engine block. So these surfaces aren't particularly brilliant. As you can see, nothing's particularly flat. I don't think a paper gasket is going to seal those, so I have got some of that flexible gasket paste to put between those surfaces, because I don't want it to leak. I don't want to have to take it all apart again, and hopefully now I've done it, hopefully I'll never have to do it again. Who knows?